All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me is Subhadra Ramachandran. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts in Mann Ki Baat program at 11 this morning. Home Minister Amit Shah says government ready to discuss with farmers all issues concerning them. EPFO extends deadline for submission of life certificate till the 20th of February next year. Delhi government orders work from home for 50% of its employees associated with non-essential services. Serum Institute of India to apply for emergency authorization of COVID-19 vaccine in next 2 weeks. And in cricket, India take on Australia in second ODI at Sydney. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with the people in the country and abroad in the Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio at 11 this morning. It will be the 71st episode of the monthly radio program. It will be broadcast on the entire network of AIR and Doordarshan and also on AIR News website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR mobile app. It will also be streamed live on the YouTube channels of AIR, DD News, PMO and Information and Broadcasting Ministry. AIR will broadcast the program in regional languages immediately after the Hindi broadcast. The regional language versions will be repeated at 8 in the evening. In a tweet yesterday evening, the Prime Minister asked people to tune in to Mann Ki Baat. Prime Minister Narendra Modi concluded his Tri-City tour of visiting facilities involved with the manufacture and development of the coronavirus vaccine. In his last stop of the single-day tour, the PM visited Serum Institute in Pune last evening. His visit to Maharashtra-based institute was considered significant as the institute, which has partnered with global pharma giant AstraZeneca and Oxford University for a COVID-19 vaccine, is in the advanced trial of COVID vaccine development. At the SII vaccine plant, the managing team and core scientist group briefed the PM about the overall phases and research testing for a COVID vaccine. PM Modi also took a detailed review of the status of the vaccine, including its launch, production and distribution mechanisms during the visit.
Serum Institute of India SII will apply for emergency authorization of COVID-19 vaccine in the next 2 weeks. This was stated by the Chief Executive of the Institute, Adar Poonawalla, in Pune yesterday.
Process of applying in the next 2 weeks for an emergency use licensure, so we'll have to wait and see after that.
Serum Institute of India is the world's largest vaccine manufacturer by volume. Pune-based drug maker partnered with global pharma giant AstraZeneca to produce COVID-19 vaccine by the University of Oxford for low and middle-income countries. Dubbed as Covishield, the COVID-19 vaccine is currently in phase 3 clinical trial in India. Mr. Poonawalla said Covishield is highly effective vaccine against novel coronavirus. AstraZeneca and Oxford University earlier said that their drug had proved on average 70% effective at stopping the virus after trying it on 23,000 people. Mr. Poonawalla said India will be given first priority for the delivery of the AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine. He said the COVID-19 vaccine will be distributed initially in India, then we will look at the COVAX countries, which are mainly in Africa.
It will be distributed initially in India, of course, and then we'll look at the COVAX countries, which is mainly in Africa. The UK and the European markets are being taken care of by AstraZeneca and Oxford. If they need help scaling up with their manufacturing, we're always there to support them, but our priority is going to be India and COVAX countries first.
Delhi government has issued work-from-home orders for 50% of its employees associated with non-essential services amid a surge in COVID-19 cases in the national capital. It has also advised private establishments to follow the same practice as far as possible. Delhi Chief Secretary and DDMA Executive Committee Chairman Vijay Dev said all Delhi government offices, autonomous bodies, Public sector undertakings, corporations, local bodies will function with officers of grade 1 level or equivalent and above to the extent of 100%. He said the remaining staff will attend up to 50% as per requirement to be assessed by heads of the departments concerned. The remaining 50% of the staff will work from home till December 31 or till further orders, whichever is earlier. Private officers have been advised to stagger their office timings and quantum of staff with an objective to reduce the number of employees attending office at the same time. They are further advised to follow the practice of work from home as far as possible. Lieutenant Governor Anil Baijal approved the proposal yesterday. The heads of departments will decide about how to implement it according to the requirement of staff and their disposal.
COVID-19 tests per million population crossed 1 lakh mark yesterday. India's tests per million population stand at 1,159,000. According to the Indian Council of Medical Research, over 11,57,000 tests were conducted during the last 24 hours. The total number of samples tested so far has gone up to over 13 crore 82 lakh. Meanwhile, the country's COVID-19 recovery rate has reached 93.68%, as a total of 41,452 patients have recovered during the past 24 hours. According to the Health Ministry, the total number of recoveries has gone up to over 87,59,000. The actual case load currently comprises only 4.87% of the total positive cases. Presently, the total number of active cases in the country is 4,54,940. During the past 24 hours, 41,322 new cases were reported, taking the total number of positive cases to over 93,51,000. The ministry said effective implementation of the strategic and graded test, track and treat approach has led to higher recoveries and lower fatality. Currently, India's case fatality rate is at 1.46%, which is one of the lowest globally. During the last 24 hours, 485 deaths were reported, taking the toll to 1,36,200. In Madhya Pradesh, Medical Education Minister Vishwas Kailash Sarang reviewed the trial process of the indigenous vaccine Covaxin. He talked to the people that volunteered for vaccine trial and appreciated the efforts. A Bhopal correspondent has filed this report.
35 people have registered for the vaccine trial in People's Hospital in Bhopal so far. The Health Minister informed that the trial of vaccination will start at Gandhi Medical College soon.
मध्य प्रदेश एक ऐसा राज्य है, हमने फ्री में कोविड का इलाज किया। मध्य प्रदेश ने हर तरह से केंद्र की सरकार की सभी गाइडलाइनों का पालन किया। कहीं भी न बिस्तर की कमी है, न ऑक्सीजन की कमी है, न वेंटिलेटर की कमी है।
Meanwhile, more than 1,85,000 patients have recovered so far in Madhya Pradesh. 1,317 patients were also discharged from the hospitals in the past 24 hours. On the other hand, more than 1,600 new patients were reported yesterday. As a result, the number of COVID-19 cases in the state has crossed to 2 lakh marks. The corona positivity rate in the state is 5.3%. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
In Bihar, COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 97.08%. This is 3.40% more than the national average. The number of active cases in the state is continuously declining. Currently, 5,585 patients are undergoing treatment at various hospitals. In all, 668 patients recovered in the last 24 hours, while 713 new cases were reported. Maximum positive cases of 267 were reported from Patna. 37 containment areas in state capital have been sealed. Over 2,27,714 patients have so far recovered from the infection in the state. Over 1 lakh corona tests is undertaken every day. Over 1 crore 44 lakh corona tests have been conducted in the state so far. In Odisha, COVID-19 active case load has further gone down to below 6,000. With the recovery of 802 patients as against 550 new infection during the last 24 hours, the number of active cases in the state has decreased to 5,457. Our Bhubaneswar correspondent has filed this report.
Odisha's cumulative recovery at 3 lakh plus is racing ahead to catch up with the cumulative positive cases at 3,17,000 plus. Added to this is the absence of any fresh case in at least 2 out of 30 districts of the state during the last 24 hours. With the virus spiraling downward on a sustained basis over the last 2 months, the state government has ordered the attendance of 75% of the staff in place of 50% earlier in the state government offices and the subordinate units in the twin cities of Cuttack and Bhubaneswar during the month of December. While offices providing essential services will continue with full strength during the month, all offices under the state government across the state will continue to be closed on all Saturdays as well. Girish Chandra Das, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
In Tamil Nadu, the COVID-19 active caseload has come down to 11,073. Yesterday, 1,430 people were recorded positive, including 393 in Chennai. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy interacted with the members of the state medical experts team and the district collectors over the COVID-19 situation. We have more from our Chennai correspondent.
During his interaction with the collectors, Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy said the government has spent about 2,000 crore rupees for the treatment of COVID-19 patients and 5,400 crore rupees for the RT-PCR test and the disease preventive measures so far. He said the 2,000 mini clinics as announced earlier to serve the underserved remote places will be launched on the 15th December. As the current phase of the unlock gets over by the 30th of this month, the relaxations during the next phase of the unlock may be announced by the government very soon. Jaishankar, AIR News, Chennai.
Chief Scientist at the World Health Organization, Dr. Soumya Swaminathan, has expressed confidence that the corona vaccine could be available next month. Dr. Swaminathan was speaking at Swami Ramanand Tirth lecture series on the subject of COVID-19 through Facebook Live organized from Latur. Dr. Swaminathan informed that the work on the corona vaccine is in its final stages. She also said that corona vaccine by some companies is expected to be available in a month or two, while by March-April it will be available in a large quantity for the masses. Speaking about COVID-19 transmission, she said the virus is transmitted when a number of people come in direct physical contact with each other. Dr. Swaminathan also explained the importance of wearing masks, washing face and hands at regular intervals, and maintaining physical distance from crowd in public places as important preventive measures. She also asked people to stop spitting in public places in order to stop the spread of the virus and guided on the proper way of wearing masks as per the WHO standards. The discussion was attended by Dr. Ranjana Kumar of the Vaccines Alliance. Home Minister Amit Shah has appealed to the protesting farmers that the government is ready to hold talks. Talking to media, Mr. Shah said Agriculture Minister has invited them on 3rd December for discussions. He said government is ready to deliberate on every problem and demand of the farmers.
जो किसान भाई अपना आंदोलन कर रहे हैं वो सभी को मैं अपील करना चाहता हूं कि भारत सरकार आपसे चर्चा करने के लिए तैयार ही 3 दिसंबर को कृषि मंत्री जी ने आपको निमंत्रण पत्र भेजा है चर्चा के लिए और भारत सरकार आपकी हर समस्या और आपकी हर मांग पर विचार विमर्श करने के लिए तैयार है। किसान यूनियन के सभी नेताओं को मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं कि आप सारे किसान भाइयों को लेकर जो स्थान दिल्ली पुलिस ने तय किया है वहीं पर आ जाइए। पुलिस परमिशन के साथ शांतिपूर्वक तरीके से लोकतांत्रिक तरीके से आंदोलन चालू रखे और शीघ्र भारत सरकार आपसे बातचीत करने के लिए तैयार है। बातचीत को भी आगे बढ़ाइए।
Employees Provident Fund Organization EPFO has extended time limit for pensioners up to 28th February next year for the submission of Jeevan Praman Patra JPP. Around 35 lakh pensioners with EPFO will benefit from this. This has been done in view of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and the vulnerability of the elderly population to coronavirus. Presently, a pensioner can submit Jeevan Praman Patra any time during the year up to 30th November, which is valid for a period of 1 year from the date of issue. All such pensioners can now submit life certificate till 28th February next year. Union Minister Prakash Javadekar has said foreign direct investment into India surged by a healthy 15% to $30 billion in April till October this year. In a tweet, Mr. Javadekar said, Make in India for the World campaign launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi has picked up the pace and is firmly on course to make India an industrial hub for the world.
Union Minister Piyush Goyal has said that Atmanirbhar Bharat is about opening India's doors wider so that India engages with the world from a position of strength on equal, fair and reciprocal terms. Delivering the keynote address at an event, he said that India should focus its energies on creating within the country, learning from experiences across the world, bringing best of technologies to India, attracting capital, skills and high-quality education and healthcare. He said technology will play an important role in achieving Atmanirbharta, and the government will support startups and industry in expanding technology ecosystem.
When we talk of Atmanirbhar Bharat, the effort is that India should focus its energies to create what we can within the country, learn from experiences from across the world, bring the best of technologies to India, attract capital, attract skills, attract high quality education, healthcare, so that we can serve our people better.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts in Mann Ki Baat program at 11 this morning. Home Minister Amit Shah says government ready to discuss with farmers all issues concerning them. EPFO extends deadline for submission of life certificate till the 28th February next year. Delhi government orders work from home for 50% of its employees associated with non-essential services. Serum Institute of India to apply for emergency authorization of COVID-19 vaccine in the next 2 weeks. And in cricket, India take on Australia in second ODI at Sydney. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
To get accurate, reliable and wide coverage of news, tune into AIR News 24/7 and FM Gold and listen to the major bulletins at 8:30 AM, 2 PM and 8:30 PM in English and 8 AM, 2:30 PM and 8 PM in Hindi of half an hour each.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Varanasi tomorrow and dedicate to the nation the 6-lane widening project of the Handia-Prayagraj Raja Talab Varanasi section of the National Highway 19. During the tour, the Prime Minister will attend Dev Deepavali, undertake a site visit of Kashi Vishwanath Temple Corridor Project and also visit the Sarnath Archaeological Site. The 73 kilometers stretch of the newly widened and 6-lane NH19, made with a total outlay of 2,447 crore rupees, is expected to reduce the travel time between Prayagraj and Varanasi by 1 hour. Dev Deepavali, which has become a world-famous festival of light and fervour in Varanasi, is celebrated on Kartik Purnima every year.
In Tamil Nadu, the famous Kartikai Deepam festival is being celebrated today. In the famous Tiruvannamalai Sri Arunachaleshwara temple, the Bharani Dweep was lit up this morning. In the night, the Mahadweep will be lit up after pujas at the summit of the mountain in a copper urn with ghee and wicks of cotton threads. In view of the prevailing pandemic, devotees from other places have been barred entry through the major events are being live-streamed and telecast. The famous temple at Tiruvannamalai is in honor of the 5 elements. Besides, most houses in Tamil Nadu will be lit up with diyas or agal vilakku this evening in view of the Kartikai Deepam festival. In Chhattisgarh, 10 security personnel were injured in an IED blast triggered by the Maoists in Bastar region yesterday evening. The incident took place when a team of Cobra Battalion, an elite unit of CRPF, was on a search operation in Tadmetla area of Sukma district. The condition of 4 injured Jawans, including an assistant commandant, is reported to be critical.
Petroleum and Natural Gas Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has said that India is emerging as a sought-after destination for investment in renewable energy sector. Addressing the third Global Renewable Energy Investment Conference 2020 through virtual mode, he said that $64 billion has been invested in India's renewable energy sector during the last 6 years. He said the government of India targeted to set up 5,000 CBG plants in the country with an investment of $20 billion, even as 1,500 CBG plants have already become operational. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has assured Seychelles President Wavel Ramkalawan that the Indian Ocean Archipelago nation holds a particular priority both under the Neighbourhood First policy and the Sagar Security and Growth for All in the Region outlook. Dr. Jaishankar concluded his 2-day official visit to Seychelles yesterday. This was the last leg of his 3-nation tour. In a tweet message, Dr. Jaishankar said that they have discussed close security cooperation, strong development partnership, and long-standing people-to-people contact. He thanked the Indian origin Seychelles President for his warm reception and conveyed the greetings of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The External Affairs Minister said that India looks forward to further strengthening ties with Seychelles under Mr. Ramkalawan's leadership. President Ramkalawan appreciated the assistance provided by India during the pandemic in the form of medical supplies and critical drugs. He valued the development and security partnership between the two countries and spoke of its positive impact on nation building in Seychelles.
The 4th National Security Advisor level meeting on trilateral maritime security cooperation was held between India, Sri Lanka and Maldives in Colombo yesterday. The participants took stock of the current maritime security environment in the region. They have discussed mutual cooperation in an array of areas, including maritime domain awareness, humanitarian assistance, disaster relief, joint exercises and maritime pollution. Exchanging views on common security threats, India, Sri Lanka and Maldives have agreed to broad-based cooperation on a host of maritime security-related issues. India will host Shanghai Cooperation Organization SCO Council of Heads of Government meeting tomorrow through video conference. Ahead of the meet, SCO Secretary General Vladimir Norov spoke to Prasar Bharati's special correspondent in Beijing, Anshuman Mishra, on the expectations from it and challenges lying ahead in an exclusive interview. Mr. Norov said that the heads of delegations will exchange views on deepening cooperation in the trade, economic and investment spheres in the context of overcoming the negative consequences of COVID-19 pandemic. He informed that the countries will review the activities of the SCO Business Council and Interbank Association.
I believe that the action plan will help boost economic growth in our countries. The first meeting of the Consortium of Economic Analytical Centers organized by INDIANSAT, held in August this year, served as a platform for study and comprehensive analysis of factors affecting economic integration within the ACO, taking into account global and regional processes.
Mr. Norov said, special mention of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's proposal at this year's SCO summit of creating a working group in the field of traditional medicine. At the summit, Mr. Modi also proposed to create a special working group on innovation and startup that could share India's rich experience in the field of startup ecosystem. Under India's chairmanship, the first ever SCO Startup Forum was also launched this year.
Back home in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, amid the COVID-19 pandemic and bone-chilling cold in the Kashmir Valley and some parts of Jammu Division, a large number of people participated in the first ever District Development Council DDC polls, and 51.7% voting was recorded for the Phase 1 peacefully without any untoward incident. The Panchayat by-election were also held peacefully in the Union Territory. The DDC elections in the Union Territory are the first major polls that have been conducted across the valley since the abrogation of Article 370 and bifurcation of the erstwhile state of J&K into two union territories. The second one-day international between India and Australia will take place at the Sydney Cricket Ground today. In the opening game of the 3-match series on Friday, Australia defeated India by 66 runs. All India Radio Delhi will broadcast live commentary on the match alternately in Hindi and English from 8:30 a.m. It will be available on FM Rainbow, Rajdhani, PB YouTube and other channels.
A low-pressure area has formed over South Andaman Sea and adjoining Southeast Bay of Bengal and Equatorial Indian Ocean. It is likely to intensify into depression in the next 24 hours. Director IMD Amravati S. Stella told AIR that it is likely to move westwards and reach Tamil Nadu and Puducherry coast on Wednesday. Stella also said that today and tomorrow, northeasterly winds lie over Andhra Pradesh and light rain is likely to occur in one or two places both in south coastal AP and Rayalaseema. Several districts of Andhra Pradesh have been experiencing normal to heavy rainfall for the past 3 days. Chief Minister had conducted an aerial survey of the cyclone Never affected areas yesterday. The Chief Minister has already instructed the officials to focus on restoration of power supply and repairs of damaged roads on war footing. National capital Delhi's air quality is in poor category this morning. The air quality index AQI was recorded 251 at 6 a.m. The city is struggling with poor air quality since the beginning of winter season. The Minister of Finance has said that the Punjab government has communicated acceptance of option 1 to meet the revenue shortfall arising out of GST implementation. The number of states who have chosen this option has gone up to 26. All the 3 union territories, Delhi, Jammu and Kashmir and Puducherry, have also decided in favor of option 1. The Finance Ministry in a statement said the states and union territories who choose option 1 are getting the amount of shortfall arising out of GST implementation through a special borrowing window put in place by the Government of India.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital is generally misty with temperatures varying between 10 and 25 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will observe partly cloudy sky and the temperature will vary between 23 and 33 degrees Celsius. Chennai will have partly cloudy sky with moderate rain. The temperature will hover between 22 and 30 degrees Celsius. Kolkata is likely to have mainly clear sky. The city observed a minimum temperature of 17 degrees Celsius and is likely to experience maximum temperature of 28 degrees Celsius. On to the north, Jammu witnessed a minimum temperature of 9 degrees Celsius while maximum will be around 24 degrees. The city will have mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Srinagar will have mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Temperature will hover between -2 degrees Celsius and 13 degrees. In Leh, there will be mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The minimum temperature was -8 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 3 degrees. Gilgit will have mainly clear sky between 1 degree Celsius to 16 degrees. Muzaffarabad will have mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The temperature will move from 5 to 17 degrees Celsius. In Dehradun, the temperature will hover between 9 and 25 degrees Celsius. Sky will be mainly clear. Chandigarh will have mainly clear sky. The temperature is likely to move from 9 to 25 degrees Celsius. In Hyderabad, the minimum temperature was 16 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be 27 degrees. The city will have partly cloudy sky with haze. Ahmedabad will have clear sky. The minimum temperature was 16 degrees Celsius while maximum will be 31 degrees. Patna will have mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between 10 degrees Celsius to 29 degrees. And in Guwahati, fog or mist would occur in early morning. The minimum temperature was 14 degrees Celsius while maximum will be 28 degrees.
Some more news. Face-to-face negotiations between United Kingdom and the European Union over a trade deal have restarted in London in the last-ditch attempt to find agreement with just 5 weeks to go before their current relationship ends. And now an overview of today's newspapers. Modi tours 3 cities to boost vaccine hope, states the Asian Age. SII seek emergency license in 2 weeks, leads the Hindustan Times. On phase 1 of DDC polls in J&K, the Sunday Express writes, Day 1 of J&K political test, 41% turnout in Valley, 52% overall. Polling peaceful amid tight security, brisk voting in Jammu. Shift to Burari will hold talks forthwith, Shah tells farmers, writes the Sunday Tribune, adding, Captain urges farm unions to grab Home Minister's offer. Marine commandos deployed at Pangong, informs the Pioneer. The paper writes that India preparing for long haul at LAC bolsters its readiness. India to host Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit tomorrow, writes the Hindu. And finally, Sunday Times reports that 70,000 vaccinators, another 30,000 from private sector to give shots, first to an estimated 30 crore priority population in the initial months of 2021 and gradually to others.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts in Mann Ki Baat program at 11 this morning. Home Minister Amit Shah says government ready to discuss with farmers all issues concerning them. EPFO extends deadline for submission of life certificate till 20th of February next year. Delhi government orders work from home for 50% of its employees associated with non-essential services. Serum Institute of India to apply for emergency authorization of COVID-19 vaccine in next 2 weeks. And in cricket, India take on Australia in the second ODI at Sydney. And with that we end the morning news. Have a nice day.